Welcome to my October TBR. Hi guys, welcome to Books and Chooks. I'm Sabrina and today I'm doing my October TBR, which is new. I haven't done the TBR before, so I'm really excited. I have six books that I would like to read this month. I've got kind of a bit of everything. I've got some historical fiction, I've got some like mystery thrillers, I've got some classics, and I've got a fantasy. So I've got a bit of everything. So first book I want to pick up this month, which I started this morning, is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I have read two of Ruth Ware's books in the past. I actually read one of hers last month. It was One by One, and I've also read The Turn of the Key, and I loved both of them. They were both really good, and so I'm really excited to pick up more of hers. So basically you follow Nora, the main character, who hasn't seen her kind of old friend Claire for about 10 years. She kind of walked away from her old life and her old friends for some reason. But then kind of out of the blue, Nora receives an invitation from Claire to come to her hen's night. The hen's night is like a weekend away in like a remote cottage in the woods. And Nora sees this as like the perfect opportunity to kind of reconnect with her old friend. And so Nora decides to go. But then something bad happens. I'm really excited for this one. I'm already a couple chapters in. The second one that I want to read this month is The Glass Woman by Caroline Lee. First off, this is such a beautiful cover. I'm so excited for this one. The spine's very shiny as well. Yeah, this one is set in the 1600s in Iceland. And it basically follows this woman, Rosa, who's been betrothed to this man called John Erickson. So when they're married, she's kind of sent away to his village, and her husband refuses to speak about his recently deceased first wife. All of the villagers are very suspicious of her and kind of very unfriendly, and her husband is a bit sus. He acts really strange towards her. There's also like a locked attic with strange noises and all this kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to read this one. This has been sitting on my shelf pretty much the whole year, and I'm just really excited to pick it up. Honestly, see what's going on with this guy. So the next one I want to read is The Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil. I read Elizabeth McNeil's first book, The Doll Factory, back in 2019, I think, and I absolutely loved it. So as soon as she announced that she was releasing her second book, I pre-ordered it, and it was released earlier this year, and it's been sitting on my shelf, and I've been like itching to pick it up, but I just have so many books that I want to read, and I just always get distracted or want to read another book. And so I've just been pushing this kind of further and further down my TBR, but I've decided now is the time and we are going to read it. This is set in the 1860s in England, and it follows Nell, who was born with birthmarks all over her body. Just an ordinary girl, she picks violets for a living, but then Jasper Jupiter's Circus of Wonders comes to town and Nell is kidnapped, and then she finds out later that her father actually sold her to the circus and that she is now going to become the circus's new attraction, the leopard girl. Like it sounds like such an interesting concept, a circus in Victorian times. So that's the next one. So the next one I would like to read is All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Remarque. This is a classic. I'm sure most people have heard of this, and I just think it sounds really interesting. I've had this for a while. I think I've had it since the end of last year. But I'm really interested in reading it. If you don't know what it is about, it starts off in 1914. There's a room full of German schoolboys, and their teacher is basically encouraging them to go off and enlist and join the fight in the war. From then on, it's the story of an unknown soldier's point of view and his experiences in the trenches and just basically the horrors of war, and how he experiences them. So I think it's a really interesting way to write a book, and I think it resonates with a lot of men who did go and fight in the war. It's not one person's experience. I think this book can relate to a whole generation of men who did go fight in the war. So I think that's what's, I guess, unique about this book. So the next one that I'm going to pick up this month is another classic, and it is Persuasion by Jane Austen. I have actually never read a Jane Austen book, which is probably not great of me. I do have Pride and Prejudice and Mansfield Park. I just haven't read them. I do want to read them, I just haven't. But I have picked this one up recently. This one just seems like a nice short one to get into her writing. And I also really like the idea of this one. So again, most people I feel like have heard of this book, but if you don't know what it's about, you follow this character Anne Elliot, who, as the back of the book says, is living like a Cinderella-like existence with her father and sister, and it's more so about her finding personal fulfillment and becoming the woman that she wants to be, rather than having to rely on a man or finding a match. So I think it'll be really interesting, and I am looking forward to reading that one. And last but not least is probably the one I'm most excited for, and I can't wait. And that is the first book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am a huge Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, just Middle-earth fan. I absolutely love it. But I've never read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is crazy. I have watched the movies thousands of times. Like, as I watch them, I can quote them. I've read The Hobbit multiple times. I've watched the Hobbit trilogy multiple times. I have Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth paraphernalia everywhere. I even have foam replicas of some of the weapons from Middle-earth, from the Lord of the Rings / Hobbit. I love Tolkien's universe, like Middle-earth, just everything. But I've never read Lord of the Rings, so aside from my reading goal of reading like X amount of books this year, I also said to myself, I have to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So it's come around to October, we're at the end, 3 months of the year, and I need to read it. So I'm going to pick up the first one this month. I'm very, very excited for this. It'd be interesting to, like, obviously everyone always says the books are more detailed and the books are better than the movies, which I'm not doubting that that's the case. Like, books are so much more descriptive, but it'll be interesting to see how the books and movies compare. I've watched the movies thousands of times, and it'll be interesting to see like what scenes are in the book, what extra scenes they left out of the movie. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one as well. So they are the 6 books that I really want to read this October. I'm super excited for all of them for different reasons, and I'm really hoping that I will be able to get through all of these. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed my TBR. Yeah, let me know your TBR for this month, and if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you would like. Until next time, until my next video, I hope you all stay safe and healthy and well, and I will give you a book cheers to your TBRs for this month. So cheers to TBRs. See you guys.